Hi guys, welcome back to another all in a day's work for a journeyman knife maker, or two or three as it turns out, because obviously, like I say, I don't really, or very rarely ever get to say I'm going to spend a day doing what I'm doing. It's a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there, trying to plan my jobs around things, and lots of other things going in the periphery. Just a quick intro here, just to show you the sort of things I'm meaning is, here I've just finished, well, nearly finished, just linseed oil in the couple of axe handles I have. What I tend to do with that, I use linseed oil, generally use boiled. I don't know if it makes that much difference. Bit of very fine grade wire wool. I give them a really good scrub with a light coat of oil. That's just basically to get through the dirt, the muck, the grime that are on the handles, so the wire wool strips that off and lets the linseed oil get on there, so it cleans them and oils them at the same time. That'll be left on there for probably another 20 minutes or so. I've got a bit of cloth here, then what I'll do is I wipe off, give them a wipe down. You don't want to leave lumps on there, because all it'll do is it will eventually go hard, then you get sticky bits and you'll get blisters from that. Just the other day, what I've just finished doing on here is drilled a little hole in the side of the my little toaster oven and fitted a little electronic thermometer in there. And then what I've done is over the last few days is whenever I've been doing anything, I've been keeping an eye on the temperature, so I knew I would keep it within the range I wanted. So it does fluctuate quite a lot in this, but if I needed either a minimum temperature for like stabilising handle scales, you can't let the temperature drop below sort of like mid-90s. Or if I'm wanting to keep something warm, I don't want like steel, I don't want it to drop below mid-50s. And then when I'm drying wood out, I'm working around the 100-degree range. So what I've actually done, hopefully you can see that there, is rather than relying on the scale on the side, what I've done is I've actually marked it at where the thermometer is telling me I need that temperature scale to be. So, excuse me as I turn that around. So that's just a couple of little jobs I've got on there. I'm just about to get on and do a bit of hand sanding and bits and pieces, although apparently very shortly we're off out for breakfast and went to the pictures with the most beloved and number one, who's back for a little while. So that's just a couple of little bits I've got going on there, just trying to sort things out and tidy things out and check things over. Always lots of little bits and pieces of jobs, you're wanting to crack on and do things, but all the stuff on the periphery, and obviously like there are other things I enjoy doing, so I'll catch you on the next job. Well, another day in the life of a journeyman knife maker, guys. This is the next day on, although a split second in the time of the video, but here we've got the scales I did yesterday. These will be all coming off and having a bit of a check very shortly. They should all be set now. Pot's nice and solid, really good. Yeah, really pleased with that, so I know the resin's gone off properly. The last 2.5 to 3 hours I've been spending, actually, a very good friend of mine, I've got to say that, because he keeps bringing me stuff. Dropped me some bits of wood off over the last week or two, so I managed to having to get sorted and get them sorted out. This was from a piece of tortura he dropped off, and getting big pieces of timbers, especially native timbers, doesn't come along every day. But he also, out of somebody's garden, found me, and this is only one block I've made out of a piece of it, but he found me some ironwood. This stuff weighs a bloody ton. Great, very old. So these are I've just PVA glued on one side. I'm just about to turn them over and do the other, and I've also made a number of blocks which I've marked as well, and they'll be for possibly fire steels if I want matching fire steels. So I've got the timbers to go with them if they're needed or if they're wanted. I'm not sure about the ironwood, but here we have the aftermath of the last 2 or 3 hours. Well, 2.5 hours of this, and then a load of timber I've been splitting. But here we've got a very nice lump of what we call lancewood. I'm not sure the proper name for it, but that's what it's called over here. That's absolutely, this stuff again, it absolutely weighs a ton. And that's the other two pieces from there. A couple of pieces of the ironwood, well, the one lump he got me. And again, that's, as you can see, it's very old, came out of somebody's garden. I've eventually managed to get it into 3 pieces. And then what my plan is, I've just managed to get one, and unfortunately, I managed to take all the dead off around the side and clean it up, and I found a huge insect burrow right in the middle, and it looks like that might have one as well. So actually, out of a piece of wood like that, I just managed to get the one piece of timber I just showed you inside. That was all I managed to salvage out of a whole lump like that. Such is the reality of getting native timbers, naturally sourced and all the rest of it, and not just using reclaimed wood, which I'm not against, and I'll quite happily do that if I can find the right stuff. But yep, so that's been the last Oh, back into the cool. Last couple of hours. So, anyway, I've just about had enough. I'm going to finish off PVAing these. By the time I've cleared everything up, put the tools away, got that other timber, which I might just glue up the ends, and I'll find out some way of I tried to chainsaw through the bloody ironwood. Didn't want to know, so I ended up using the bench saw. And then what I'm going to do with the lancewood, I'm not too sure, but I might have to get my friend over with his big chainsaw. Going through that with my 14-incher is just, hell, ruining more wood than I'm getting off it. So, yep. And then when I've done that, I've probably had enough. I'll go and have a cool down and a chill out and a drink, and then I might bob out later on and get these handle scales off. Either that, or I might leave them till tomorrow. My plan tomorrow is I've got a bit of time in here. I've done a lot of my chores today, and crack on and get some bit more knife making done. Bit of a chill out, I hope. Right, next job. Hi there, guys. Back for another quick job. First thing I'd like to say is I hope I'll have to have a quick listen to this when I've done, but hopefully the big green box isn't making too much noise that you can't hear me. I'll try and speak fairly clearly, so if it sounds like I'm shouting a bit, I haven't suddenly gone deaf. I'm just aware that it's running on the timer. I've just been doing some grinding. I think something I've said a couple of times is I seem to be struggling to actually do half of what these videos are about, which is knife making. But that, I mean, that's obviously different reasons, time constraints, other jobs. I mean, we're in the summer now here. The grass doesn't stop growing, the bushes and the trees don't stop growing, the dogs don't stop needing walking, work doesn't have to stop being attended to. I'm working on that one though, or I'm trying to. But yeah, so I've just been doing a bit of grinding, and basically just they've got these blades, the ones I've shown you, which have been hardened and tempered. Let's get them out of the box here, don't mix them up. And basically now they've been hardened and tempered, so the first job has been to clean off the bevels and get those down closer to where they're going to have an edge on. That's obviously my little Bimbler's bushcrafty hunter job thingy. I'll get names and things, the rest of it. I can't really work out what I want to be or what I want to call myself or anything else yet. I know something I said in one of my videos about, you know, think ahead, and if you're planning to come down this game, even from the start thinking about things like, getting out there, getting your name out there, advertising, what you're going to call it, all the rest of it. I'm struggling, because I just came in and started doing the things I like to do and avoided the things I didn't, like learning how to do a YouTube editor and all the other stuff, and I've had to put things together. I thought, it's got to the point where I thought, if I want to get any better, I've got to do these things. But so that's my little small crafter. That one. Sorted the scales and the liners out, which I've shown you, so that's going on. My little bush hunter, the little project that I've got going on, and one of my little neck knives. And again, I have to say the grind went a bit wrong on this one, but again, I'm just practicing on everything and seeing how things come off. So I altered what I was doing and just plugged away a little bit, and suddenly thought, oh, actually I quite like that, and I need something to be working and showing you guys with and things like that as I go along. So I thought, oh, it's turned into a really nice little knife. I thought, so onto the hand sanding, sharpening, cleaning up, sheath making. Yeah, so that's the sort of stuff I've just finished off. Over the last few days, I've sort of like set myself to, because the weather's a bit nicer, I wanted to get out and do a bit more, get myself back into a bit of the bush skills and things like that. So, I came out at one point and cleaned all my sharpening gear up and got everything out. And I've got to say, like everybody else, when you're using things on a regular basis, they get a bit gunked up, bits end up all over the bloody place. So I pulled things back and made myself sit down and basically do a bit of work on that. So I've got what I call like my crafting gear. I carry a little crafting haversack when I'm out and about. I'll get into things like that as I go along. But I've cleaned some of the tools up that go in there as a starting point. So I often carry a little Opinel. It's just a little carbon steel Opinel. Sharpened up okay. This is my a little Mokakugan, I think they call them some places. A little crook knife, the Indian crook knife. It's basically designed for carving. It's held that way and you carve towards yourself. Great for spoon making and things like that. Unfortunately, some of these, because they've got funny shapes to them, and this took some bloody cleaning up. I did some writing it. I'd lent this to a couple of people over in the UK on courses and bits of stuff like that, and hadn't realised how damaged the edge was. It took me bloody ages, but it's not too bad at the minute. So does that, you know, it does the job. Same sort of thing. I've got a little my little spoon knife. Again, I've had to do some work on that, but you know, again, even as a spoon knife, you know, it needs to sort of basically do that kind of thing. The one I don't know if I've shown it in another video, but this was sort of like my original bushcrafting knife. I made this, oh god, last century. Look at the vid, not at the picture, look at the vid, not at the picture. Last century I made this. This was made with hacksaws, file, loads of sandpaper. It's not stabilised, it's camel bone handles, loveless bolts, pins, black line, fibre liners. It's about a 20, it's quite a steep bevel actually, it's a fine bevel. I think it was just when I used a hand jig for the file, so I didn't have the sort of thing that some of the equipment I've got now, like, I mean, I could check it if I get around to it, the little file or the magnetic angle holder. But like I say, it was hardened in a little barbecue forge, tempered in the oven, you know, and all these years down it's done some work, but you know, it doesn't do too bad. I was nicking the blade, but you know, pretty pleased really to see how long ago it was I made that, compared to my current heat treats and the fitting and finish. I think to say what it just shows the sheer minimal amount of gear I had to do this, and you know, if you hopefully you can see. Oh god, I've got the sunshine out behind me, but you know, even the fit and the finish on the handle and things like that. The bevel, although it's not perfect anymore, that's because of a lot of hand sanding, you know, hand sharpening and things like that, but it takes a razor edge and keeps it as well. So these are the sort of things I've just basically cleaned all these up so I can get using. This is one of my prototypes, and I wasn't completely happy with the fit and finish. It was something I did rush when I first started making things again. I think this was made in probably about January. I took it on a trip in February, I think it was, to South Island, and I rushed it a bit to get it done, so the fit and finish in the handle got a bit rushed. I think this is the one where I thought I'd bought slow setting epoxy. It was extra strong epoxy. I didn't know the names and things over here. And mixed it all up, getting everything together. All of a sudden, everything just started to stick together, but I mean, I managed to actually get things, and it's still in one piece, and I've used it for all sorts of crap. But the actual the bevel on this is about 24 degrees, and I know because I've measured it. Although I did this on my hand jig as well. This wasn't done on the machine. This was done on a hand jig, and it's about 24 degrees, a bit less maybe. And it does, you can see the difference. People talk about Scandis and the edge rolling. It does a little bit. So what I did, I've just put a slight micro bevel on this edge. You can see there's actually still a bit of a chunk in it somewhere around here, but I'm not pissing about sharpening that out. But even with the micro bevel on, now you can hear that where it caught. Even with the micro bevel on, you can see how sharp what sort of an edge it will actually take. I'll see if I can show you where the nick is as it goes through. There, you can see it stops. So, you know, when people talk about sharpening with paper and things like that, it can have a place. One of the places is, it will show you if your grind is nice and level, because you can do things like that with it. It will also show you if you're missing anywhere when you're sharpening your knife, just by drawing it over the full length of the edge, so you're drawing the whole knife down the full edge, then you'll feel it when it ever catches. I can feel that, you can even hear it. And then once I've got past that little damaged area, you know, it cuts again. But the reason for that, the reason I put the micro bevel on that, and all I did to do the micro bevel was the old ceramic crock stick, stick it on the table, get the knife, approximately try and get as close to 20 degrees as you can, just the weight of the knife basically, and it's just, you can hear that. Hopefully you can hear that over the bloody machine. Each side, maybe a dozen times on each side, or literally it's virtually just the weight of the knife. And you do that on both sides, and it just puts a micro bevel on. And obviously then at 20 degrees you're talking of something very, very similar to, you know, a normal knife edge. Grab some paper. On, you know, what would be a more sort of like a more classed as more of a universal working edge. But even at that, you know, I mean, when people talk about, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to why Scandis work really, really well on wood, it's two reasons. One is the height of the bevel allows you more control to take finer shavings off wood. The other is actually the angle of the grind. Most Scandis are made somewhere between 22 and 28 degrees. A normal working knife, like on something like my Opinel here, which you saw how sharp that was, or anything like that, is about what, 40 degrees included angle. So it's a damn sight finer angle on the Scandis, which gives you, obviously, a much finer cutting edge, and that's why they're so fine. But they're easy to sharpen because you're flattening the whole edge, so they take longer but easier. Blah blah blah. Here we go. I've got my little Bushman's knife here. This is the Mark 1 I did with O1. It's matte liners and everything. Again, you can start to see the sort of like finishing things I'm getting off. What I've done now, I've done a Mark 2. I'm already on to Mark 3. The Mark 3 is actually, the grind's going to come a lot higher up, probably about 2/3 of the way. And then the second degree, this was a little bit sharp. I've just regrind this to play with, so that's why it's on the table. One of the things I did was steepen the angle on here. This had about, I think I put something like a 28-30 degree bevel on it. I've increased the bevel to 40 degrees, so 20 degrees on each side, which is more of a universal working edge. So this just needs actually sharpening up now, properly on the stones, and then just to see if that's a bit tougher, because this was rolling quite a bit, but again, very, very fine edge. So fine, you know, slightly stout blade, secondary bevel. I already know it slices absolutely brilliantly, cuts brilliantly, and just the overall size. I know it's not a bushcrafter, you know, but that's not a bushcrafter. That is a bushcrafter. It's a gralloching knife really, but it's more politically correct to call it a bushcrafter. That's a Bushman's knife. That does everything from finish off game, chop, split. I'm using it for everything, and that's why I've just increased that bevel a little bit. And I'm going to give that a bit of, give it all the hammer I want, you know. Something else I've done is I've done a quick video on axe sharpening. I don't know whether that will come out before that or this one will come out next. If the axe sharpening video gets sorted first and put out, this will sound a bit daft. But basically, what I've done is I have my Husqvarna, and I'm just talking the reason I bought this, why I bought it, what I do with it, how I sharpen it, and then the sort of like the comparison with something like a Gransforth. So I've done a vid, and I'll just give you a bit of a comparison on that and how I sharpen them and the sort of things I look at when I'm sharpening them. Some people get a bit obsessive at times. I have been told I do, but so yeah. So that's the sort of things I've been up to. Oh, I'll give a quick show. People often ask me, you know, oh, how do you sharpen your crook knives? How do you sharpen your spoon knives? Well, what I have is this. It was basically just a piece of dowel. The thickness is, you know, pretty much up to you, but that's probably about, I don't know, what is it? That's sort of like thick as your thumb, thicker than your thumb. And I just bobbed it on the sander and made it into a slightly conical shape. And then all I do is I get little pieces of wet and dry and cut them into little strips, lay them on here, and I typically don't have one, but I can find a piece of paper. Yeah, basically. There we go. Here's a piece of wet and dry. Wrap it around here, and you have a perfect little tool for getting in. Bit of a tip though, when you're sharpening on the inside, pull down like this, so that way you've got hold of the paper at the bottom. You can see I'm not catching the paper because you're always pulling against a taut paper. When you do the outside, you've got to turn it round, so you're doing the same again. If you push, as soon as you start to push, if it wrinkles, you can see how that's caught almost straight away. If you put it from the other side, get the angle right. Give it too steep an angle, it will cut. But you know, you can do the same sort of thing. I also, if I'm out in the field and want to give something a quick, if it gets a bit knacked, it gets a bit touch up. Just a little diamond hole that sits in its own handle. Flat on one side, so you can use it on. You can use it if normally I would only use like a polishing block, but you can use it on a flat blade because of the flat side. And then the little curved side, obviously, goes on the inside there and on the out. So they're quite a handy little tool really. They're not particularly expensive or anything, and you can use them for both when you're in the field, so you can just actually carry the one. So that's what I'm up to today. I'm going to crack on and finish sharpening this knife and this one, decide how I'm going to test them, and then hopefully go and have tea and put some videos together. So another, all in a day's work, or 2, or 3, or 4. No wonder I don't get any bloody knives, mate. see you on the next one. Hi guys, bet you thought you'd got away with this, didn't you? Don't forget to subscribe and like. I've also got I've started a Facebook group, bushcrafting NZ. Not seeing too much out there, so I'm going to try and get that sort of thing off the go. Instagram channel, Bush Bimbler. So have a look at the Instagram channel. Pictures going on there. And as far as these videos goes, please, if anybody, even if just one person, put something in the box, one like or something, or says, yeah, it's interesting, you're finding that the way I'm putting all these things out, instead of just going out and saying, this is me making a knife, but I'm showing you all the other peripheral stuff and all the realism of, what is the day-to-day reality of trying to do part-time knife making when you've got a full-time job and everything else, if anybody else is thinking about that, the sort of things, it gives you an idea about where the sort of things you've got to learn, look at, do, the realities of it. It's not just walk outside and whack off a beautiful knife, take some beautiful pictures. There's a huge amount more to it than that. And you can do that, and you can do odd ones, but that's the thing with me, aiming to try and do more than that. It's to actually, well, see where it goes anyway. I've said that before. So, but like I've said, at the end of the day, a lot of this is a bit of a, every now and then I delve back in occasionally and think, God, where was I 6 months ago, and do that. So I just thought I'd add this on to the end of the video and say, thank you for watching. Hope you're having an awesome day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later, guys.